Welcome to Innovation Brief by IdeaScale, where we turn your work team into innovators.
Ever get that feeling? Like you're sitting on a gold mine of ideas. You know your team has the potential to come up with truly groundbreaking stuff, but actually getting those ideas out in the open, well, it feels a bit like trying to find a needle in a haystack, doesn't it?
It's a constant challenge for leaders, isn't it? Tapping into that collective brilliance.
Exactly. We all want that breakthrough innovation, but how do we make it happen? Today, we're diving into something that might seem a bit unexpected at first glance, but trust me, it's surprisingly relevant. Participatory government.
Participatory government. Okay, I'm intrigued. But how does that apply to business?
It's all about the underlying principles. Think of it this way. Participatory government is about citizens actively shaping their societies, right? Well, we can adapt those same principles to empower our teams and create a truly innovative environment within our organizations.
Ah, I see where you're going with this. It's like taking the best practices of civic engagement and applying them to the workplace.
Exactly. And that's precisely what we're going to unpack today. We'll explore the key components of participatory government and show you how you can use them to, as we like to say, turn your work team into innovators.
I'm ready to dive in. Let's start with the basics. What exactly do we mean by participatory government?
Right. Good point. Let's define our terms. Sometimes it's called participatory democracy or participatory governance, but essentially it's a political system where citizens have a direct voice in the decisions that affect their lives.
So it's a more hands-on approach than, say, representative democracy where you elect officials to make those decisions for you.
Exactly. In participatory government, citizens are actively involved in shaping public policies, not just voting for someone to represent their interests.
That makes sense. So how does this translate to the business world? What are some of the key elements of this model, and how can we adapt them to foster innovation?
Great question. Let's break it down. One of the most crucial aspects is something called citizen engagement.
Citizen engagement. So in a government setting, what does that look like?
Well, it can take many forms. Public consultations, town hall meetings, those sorts of things.
No, yeah, like forums where citizens can voice their opinions and concerns directly to their representatives.
Exactly. But it goes beyond that. You also have things like citizen assemblies, where a randomly selected group of citizens deliberates on specific issues and provides recommendations. And then there's participatory budgeting, where citizens actually get to decide how public funds are allocated.
Wow, that's really putting power directly in the hands of the people.
It is. And the beauty of it is that we can adapt these same mechanisms to our organizations.
Oh, I see. So instead of town hall meetings, we have team meetings or all-hands meetings.
Exactly. Instead of citizen assemblies, we might form diverse employee panels to tackle specific challenges.
And participatory budgeting could be like giving employees a voice in how certain resources are allocated within their departments?
That's it. We can also leverage things like internal surveys, suggestion boxes, or even internal social media platforms to gather feedback and ideas from our teams.
So it's all about creating those channels for open communication and feedback, just like in participatory government.
Precisely. And these mechanisms, they're not just for show. They need to be genuinely inclusive. That's another cornerstone of this model. Inclusivity and diversity.
That makes sense. In government, it's about ensuring that all voices are heard, particularly those from marginalized groups who might not traditionally have a seat at the table.
Exactly. And in business, it's about actively seeking out ideas from all levels and departments, not just the usual suspects.
Because the person with the million-dollar idea might be someone you'd least expect.
Absolutely. That game-changing insight could come from anyone, regardless of their title or seniority. But to create a truly inclusive environment, we need another crucial ingredient: transparency and accountability.
Transparency and accountability, that sounds familiar. Aren't those principles essential for good governance in general?
They are. In government, it's about making information readily available to the public and holding decision-makers responsible for their choices.
So in a company setting, that would mean being open about the innovation process.
Exactly. Share what ideas are being considered, why certain decisions are made, and what impact implemented innovations have had.
It's about keeping employees in the loop so they understand the process and feel like their input is genuinely valued.
Right. Transparency builds trust and encourages further participation. After all, if people see their ideas making a difference, they're more likely to contribute in the future.
Makes perfect sense. So we've got engagement, inclusivity, and transparency. What else is crucial for creating this participatory innovation ecosystem?
Well, another important aspect is decentralization of power.
Decentralization of power. Okay, break that down for me.
In government, it means distributing decision-making authority to more local levels, closer to the people affected by those decisions.
So, in a business context, it would be about empowering individual teams to make decisions about innovation within their areas of expertise.
Exactly. Instead of all innovation directives coming from the top down, you cultivate a culture where innovation is driven from the ground up.
So, you're giving teams the autonomy to identify problems and develop solutions within their own domains.
Precisely. This approach empowers employees, makes them feel more invested in the outcomes, and often leads to more practical and effective solutions.
It's a more agile approach, isn't it? Allowing teams to respond more quickly to challenges and opportunities.
Absolutely. And it fosters a sense of ownership and accountability, which is always a good thing.
Okay, so we've got decentralized decision-making. What's next?
Well, to make this whole system work, we need collaborative decision-making.
Collaborative decision-making. So it's not just about individual teams working in isolation. It's about bringing people together from different parts of the organization to share their perspectives and expertise.
Exactly. Just like in participatory government, where different stakeholders work together to shape policies, in a business setting, we need cross-functional teams to develop and implement innovative solutions.
Because the best ideas often emerge from the intersection of different disciplines and perspectives.
Absolutely. And when you bring people together with diverse backgrounds and experiences, you're more likely to uncover those truly innovative solutions that wouldn't have been possible otherwise.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about engagement, inclusivity, transparency, decentralization, and collaboration. Is there anything else we need to consider when trying to build this kind of participatory innovation culture?
You know, there is one more really important piece: capacity building and empowerment.
Capacity building and empowerment. What does that mean exactly?
Well, think about it. If we want our teams to be effective innovators, we need to equip them with the right skills, knowledge, and mindset.
So it's not just about giving people a voice, it's about giving them the tools and support they need to use that voice effectively.
Exactly. It's about providing training, access to relevant research and resources, and creating a culture of continuous learning.
So things like workshops, mentoring programs, or even just making sure employees have time to explore new ideas and experiment.
Those are all great examples. And don't forget about providing clear feedback and recognition for those who contribute innovative ideas, even if those ideas don't ultimately get implemented.
Because it's all about encouraging that creative spark and making sure people feel valued for their contributions.
Exactly. And this brings us to one final but equally important principle: continuous learning and adaptation.
Continuous learning and adaptation, isn't that important for any organization, regardless of whether they're trying to be innovative?
It is, but it's particularly crucial when it comes to innovation. It means constantly seeking feedback, evaluating what's working and what's not, and being willing to adjust your approach based on the insights you gather.
So it's not a one-time thing, it's an ongoing process of experimentation and improvement.
Exactly. And this applies to everything we've discussed today. From the way we engage our teams to the processes we use to develop and implement innovations, we need to be flexible and adapt to the ever-changing landscape.
It's all about creating a culture of continuous improvement, where everyone is encouraged to learn from their experiences and contribute to making things better.
That's a perfect way to put it. So we've explored the key elements of participatory government and how those principles can be adapted to create a more innovative and engaged workforce.
It's been a fascinating discussion, but I'm curious, can we delve a bit deeper into why this approach is so effective for fostering innovation? What are some of the specific benefits that organizations can expect to see?
Absolutely. Let's take a closer look at why embracing these principles can be a game changer for innovation leaders like our listeners.
I'm all ears.
One of the most compelling reasons is that it enhances what we might call the internal democracy of an organization.
Internal democracy, I like that term. How does this participatory approach contribute to that?
By giving employees a genuine voice and making them feel like their opinions matter, it creates a sense of ownership and empowerment.
So instead of feeling like they're just cogs in a machine, employees become active participants in shaping the future of the organization.
Exactly. And when people feel valued and heard, they're more likely to be engaged, motivated, and, yes, innovative.
That makes sense. It's like tapping into a wellspring of untapped creativity.
It is. And it's not just about getting more ideas. It's about getting better ideas. That's another key benefit. It promotes inclusivity and equity of ideas.
Oh, so it's not just about quantity, it's about quality as well.
Precisely. A participatory approach ensures that a wider range of perspectives are considered, regardless of where those perspectives come from within the organization.
So you're breaking down those silos and encouraging cross-pollination of ideas.
Exactly. And this leads to more well-rounded and robust solutions because you're taking into account a wider range of viewpoints and potential challenges.
And isn't that essential for successful innovation? After all, the best innovations are often the ones that solve real problems for real people.
Absolutely. And that's where collaborative decision-making comes in. By bringing together people from different departments and backgrounds, you can leverage their collective expertise to develop solutions that are more likely to succeed in the real world.
It's about making sure the people who will be using or affected by the innovation have a say in how it's designed and implemented.
Exactly. It's about creating solutions that are not only innovative, but also practical and user-friendly.
Okay, so we've got enhanced democracy, inclusivity of ideas, and improved decision-making. What other benefits can we expect to see?
Another big one is increased transparency and accountability in the innovation process.
Transparency, that's something we've touched on before. How does it specifically relate to innovation?
When you're open about how ideas are being evaluated, what criteria are being used, and what the next steps are, it builds trust and encourages participation.
It's about demystifying the process and making it feel more accessible.
Exactly. And when people feel like they understand the process and believe that their input will be taken seriously, they're more likely to contribute their best ideas.
It's about creating a level playing field where everyone feels empowered to participate.
Right. And this transparency also helps to build trust in leadership's commitment to innovation.
Because actions speak louder than words, right? If employees see that their ideas are being taken seriously and that leadership is genuinely invested in innovation, they're more likely to buy into the process.
Exactly. It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
And this leads to another benefit, doesn't it? Empowering citizens, or in this case, employees, as innovators.
Absolutely. By giving people a voice and providing them with the tools and support they need to innovate, you're helping them see themselves as active agents of change.
It's about shifting that mindset from passive recipient to active contributor.
Precisely. And that can be incredibly powerful both for the individuals involved and for the organization as a whole.
Because when people feel empowered, they're more likely to take risks, think outside the box, and come up with those truly groundbreaking ideas that can drive real progress.
And it's not just about individual empowerment. It's also about fostering a sense of shared purpose and social cohesion around innovation.
Oh, that's an interesting point. How does this participatory approach contribute to that?
When people work together on a common goal, like developing an innovative solution, it can strengthen team bonds and create a more unified and engaged workforce.
It's like rallying everyone around a shared vision of the future.
Exactly. And that shared sense of purpose can be incredibly motivating and inspiring.
So we've seen how adopting these principles can lead to a more democratic, inclusive, transparent, and empowered innovation culture. But can you give our listeners some concrete examples of how these principles can be put into practice? What are some real-world examples of participatory governance that they can draw inspiration from?
Of course, one example we've already touched on is participatory budgeting, where citizens have a direct say in how public funds are allocated.
Right, so how would that translate to a business setting?
Well, you could give employees a voice in how certain resources or funding are allocated for employee-led projects or initiatives.
That's a great way to empower employees and give them a sense of ownership over the innovation process.
Exactly. Another example is citizen assemblies, where a randomly selected group of citizens deliberates on specific policy issues.
So in a company, you could form similar panels to brainstorm solutions for particular challenges.
Precisely. And to ensure a diversity of perspectives, you could randomly select employees from different departments and levels.
It's like creating mini think tanks within the organization.
Exactly. And then there's community planning and zoning, where residents actively participate in shaping the development of their neighborhoods.
How would that apply to a business context?
You could engage employees in shaping the future direction of their departments, or even the company as a whole.
So instead of senior leadership dictating strategic direction, you involve the people who will be instrumental in bringing that vision to life.
Precisely. It's about co-creating the future, rather than imposing it from the top down.
And one final example that comes to mind is the use of online engagement platforms.
Oh yeah, those are great for gathering feedback and ideas from a large group of people.
And in a business setting, you could use similar platforms to create internal idea management systems or digital feedback mechanisms.
That's a great way to make it easy for employees to share their ideas and provide feedback on an ongoing basis.
It's about creating a culture of continuous feedback and improvement.
Exactly. And these are just a few examples. There are many other ways to adapt the principles of participatory government to foster innovation within your organization.
It's really about finding what works best for your specific context and culture.
Absolutely. But the key takeaway is that embracing these principles can unlock the vast potential within your workforce and create a truly innovative and engaged culture.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Turning your work team into innovators.
It is. And that's precisely what IdeaScale can help you do. Our platform provides the tools and resources you need to implement many of the strategies we've discussed today.
From idea management and crowdsourcing to collaboration and feedback mechanisms, IdeaScale can empower your team to innovate like never before.
If you're ready to explore how you can apply these principles and turn your work team into innovators, we invite you to book a demo for a free trial at IdeaScale.com.
You won't regret it.
And don't forget to join us every Tuesday and Friday for more insightful deep dives in the Innovation Brief by IdeaScale.
We'll be exploring a wide range of topics related to innovation, leadership, and organizational transformation.
Subscribe to stay updated, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your questions or comments below. We always enjoy engaging with our listeners.
Until next time, keep those innovative ideas flowing.
And remember, the power to innovate lies within your team. It's just waiting to be unleashed.